And it's very cool.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that great? Just went up yesterday.
Wow.
Think Joe Biden would do this? I don't think so.
I don't think Donald Trump wants another election. You think for a second you want... I have 24 Trump 2028 hats. His folks keep sending me.
And you think he's going to run again?
Don't give me... who spends $200 million on a ballroom at their home and then leaves the house? So this is serious, guys. This is serious.
So it'll be Newsom Trump in 28.
No, this guy doesn't believe in free, fair elections. He tried to wreck this country. Were you there, January 6th? I think Fox was. At least they were in a lawsuit. They seem to have lost any memory of that. Shareholders didn't. I mean, he tried to light democracy on fire. He dialed for 11, almost 12,000 votes. Now he's doing it in plain sight. And people say, oh, it's just Trump being Trump. People actually think this guy's serious about having another election? You think he's joking about 2028? You think when he brings foreign leaders to the Oval Office and he goes to the White House store, have you seen this? Anyone? Is it just me? And he shows them the 2028 hats? He's not being serious? Wake up. You will lose your country. Again, it's not about Democrats. It's about all of us.
So you're absolutely convinced he's...
I'm absolutely convinced.
2028.
You've seen it. He's tried to steal the last election. He's trying to rig it in plain sight this time. He wants to get rid of vote by mail. He's talking about eliminating voting machines he doesn't like. He's setting up the contours where he can declare a declaration of emergency for anything. Just cause means whatever he just said on Truth Social. He's running the greatest grift operation in world history. I mean, it makes some of these dictators overseas blush, the crypto, not just the perfume. I mean, come on.
Let me ask you about a couple of your...
Wake up, everybody. Wake up.
Let me ask you about a couple...
Excuse me, and I know it's impolite. We have to be more calm and demure.
A couple of your own...
But I'm not calm, and I'm not going to submit myself to niceties. Not when this guy is trying to wreck our goddamn country.
Every single person laughing in that room is completely out of fucking touch with what conservative circles are saying. Most people have no fucking clue the chatter in conservative circles. So let me fucking show you. This video I'm going to show you, this is trending right now on MAGA Talk. Take a look.
There is one God. This God creates nations. He gives all nations the same rights. The idea that there are two kinds of people, those with rights and those without.
If you don't recognize this, this is a translated speech from one of the worst authoritarians in world history. His speeches are fucking trending on MAGA Talk. That video got 500,000 views and there are dozens like it. This is no longer a fringe idea. This is mainstream now. The purity tests have to stop. This isn't a fucking game. This isn't for clicks. This isn't for likes. This isn't a joke. The situation that we're in is incredibly fucking serious.
The Trump organization is selling hats that say Trump 2028.
Yeah.
Are you seriously considering a third term, Mr. President, even though it's prohibited by the Constitution? Or is this about staying politically viable?
I will say this. So many people want me to do it. I have never had requests so strong as that. But it's something that, to the best of my knowledge, you're not allowed to do. I don't know if that's constitutional that they're not allowing you to do it or anything else, but there are many people selling the 2028 hat. But this is not something I'm looking to do. I'm looking to have 4 great years and turn it over to somebody, ideally a great Republican, to carry it forward. But I think we're going to have 4 years, and I think 4 years is plenty of time to do something really spectacular.
The Constitution does prohibit it. Some of your allies are pretty serious about this, though, Mr. President. I've spoken to them. They say they are coming up with potential ways.
Well,
Obviously, the biggest one would be a constitutional amendment.
That's because they like the job I'm doing, and it's a compliment.
So Donald Trump just said he was not joking about seeking a third term in 2028 and said he has methods to achieve this. Here is how he responded when NBC's Kristen Welker asked him if he wants to run for president again. Quote, "I like working. I'm not joking, ... but it's far too early to think about it, ... A lot of people want me to do it." And then when he was asked if he had been presented with any plans as to how he would run for a third term, here's how he responded, quote, "There are methods which you could do it." But then when he was asked to clarify what those methods are, he refused to answer, likely because those methods are unconstitutional, as the 22nd Amendment prohibits Donald Trump or any president from having a third term. So there you have it. The president of the United States just went on live TV and did not rule out the possibility of seeking an unconstitutional third term. Guys, we were right. When Donald Trump reclaimed power, we knew he wouldn't want to give it up. It sucks to be proven right here, but sadly, looks like we have been.
So technically, no, Trump can't run for president again, but there is a hypothetical way for him to remain in power. Here is how. Trump could run as vice president in 2028. If his ticket wins, the president could resign after the inauguration, and boom, Trump is back as president. Now here is where it gets tricky. The 12th Amendment says if you're not eligible to be president, you can't run for vice president either. Given that Trump has already done 2 terms and can't run for president, this would likely disqualify him from being vice president too. But, and this is where it gets interesting, the 22nd Amendment, which is about term limits, says no person shall be elected to the office of president more than twice. The key word here is elected. If Trump became president as a VP taking over the president, he wouldn't actually be elected president, he would just become president, because VPs don't go through an election, they automatically take over if the president resigns. So you could argue the 22nd Amendment about term limits doesn't apply to this specific situation. Of course, this whole idea is very hypothetical and super controversial, and if you look at it reasonably, it's illegal. And it's very similar to the path that Vladimir Putin used back in the day to become a dictator in Russia. But we do know that if Trump wants something, he'll push as far as he can, and if he tried this, he could push it all the way to the Supreme Court.
Firm believer that President Trump will run and win again in 2028. So I've already endorsed President Trump. A man like this comes along once every century if we're lucky. I'm a firm believer that President Trump will run and win again in 2028. So I've already endorsed President Trump. A man like this comes along once every century if we're lucky. We've got him now. He's on fire, and I'm a huge supporter. Want to see him again in 2028.
Oh, you know he's term limited. How do you think he gets another term?
We're working on it. I think we'll have a couple of alternatives. Let's say that. We'll say what the definition of term limit is. We've had greater long shots than Trump 2028, and we've got a lot of stuff we're working on there. We're not prepared to talk about it publicly, but in a couple of months, I think we will be.
Meanwhile, most Americans are distracted.
For how they plan to steal the 2028 election. How do we know who wins elections? Oh, that's right, the news media tells us. If they can force a comedian off the air, you can bet they're planning on silencing any news organization who accurately reports on the 2028 election. They still have 3 more years to coerce our corporate media into obedience. So today, I don't really have a policy proposal. I mean, we should strengthen our antitrust laws so that we can break up the big media corporations, but that can't happen soon enough to save us. Cancel your Paramount Plus and Disney subscriptions. Don't watch anything off of ABC or CBS. Marvel's been crap since Infinity War, and the most recent season of Star Trek was wishy-washy bullshit. Get your news from independent and local media whenever possible. We need our media corporations to know we will bankrupt them if they collaborate with the regime. And if nothing else, Colorado District 1, this should conclusively prove that corporate media can never be liberal media.
There will not be another election. Wake up!
Democrats are losing their mind on this one, folks. Trump has announced that he will run for a 3rd term. Golly. This is my dream. Now, everybody's saying, Clary, how's that going to happen? Well, one way is JD could run and he'd win because, of course, then he'll just pass it along to Trump. If that's not the route that they want to take, there's other loopholes that can get this done. Another term with Trump? What would they do? What would they do?
Well, golly, Clary, what are we gonna do? You know, I think the first thing we would probably do is point out just how unfortunate it is that Trump supporters don't seem to have a goddamn clue how their own government works. Now, Clary, I don't know why you want Trump to still be president when he's 84 and looks like Emperor fucking Palpatine. But hey, cults are gonna cult, I guess. You know? But unfortunately, Clary, there's just one thing that's standing in your way, and that is the pesky old Constitution. Now, I know the Trump supporters hate the Constitution, Clary, but let's take a look at the two amendments that foil your plan. Starting with the 22nd Amendment, which says that you can't be elected president more than twice. Now, you guys thought that you found some loophole and you could sneak Trump in as vice president. But not so fast, Clary, because here comes the 12th Amendment, which says that the vice president has to have all the same eligibility requirements as the president. So if you've been president for 8 years, then you're not eligible to be president again, which means that you also can't be vice president. So Obama, Clinton, Bush, none of them can run on a ticket with anybody. So the only way that you could actually get this done, Clary, is if you guys amended the Constitution. And that would take 2/3 of the House, 2/3 of the Senate, and then 38 out of the 50 states would have to agree to it. So basically, Clary, it's not gonna happen. But let's say that it does. Let's fucking say that it does. Let's say that you actually amend the Constitution and make it possible for a president to run for a third term. Well, golly, Clary, I think I know exactly what the left would do.
Yeah, Trump, go ahead. Make that third term legal. Because the second you do, Obama's gonna dust off that suit, straighten that tie, and step right back into the spotlight.
There will not be another election. Wake up!
Donald Trump, let's get real here, is trying to become America's first dictator. Do you want that? I didn't think so. I don't want it either. I keep getting this great question asked. How do we stop him? And so here are 6 ways that I think we can stop him and win. 1, and this is the most important, don't panic. It's so important that I'm going to say it again. Don't panic. Are you panicking about Donald Trump right now? Lots of people are. Well, slap yourself across the face. I just did it. I'm not panicking anymore. Donald Trump right now is engaging, in shock and awe. He's engaging in a sprint. For him to become America's first dictator, it's going to take a marathon. We can win the marathon. 2, and this is the low-lying fruit. We don't have to be entirely active. Donald Trump will self-sabotage. He's not right in the head. He keeps making major mistakes and his popularity is down. According to the latest Gallup poll, he's underwater in terms of favorability. And what got him over the hump in terms of the election was the economy. Only 42% of people believe he's handling the economy well. 53% believe the economy is on the wrong track. Trump's policies mean you go to the VA hospital, no nurses. There are going to be E. coli outbreaks because no food inspectors. The list goes on. People are going to be unhappy. It's hard to become a dictator when you're not popular. His numbers are going to continue to drop. 3, now we get to the active parts of defeating Trump. And I'm going to start out with one that undoubtedly people will not like the most because it requires self-sacrifice. There are a lot of people who voted for Trump not because they're racist, not because they're sexist, because they just wanted more money in their wallet. They didn't care if he was a dictator or not, as long as he made them economically more comfortable. So our job is to make sure that the economy is sour. There are going to be economic boycott days. I think first one is February 28th. Don't spend. Matter of fact, don't spend over the next 4 years. Don't buy that car. Don't buy that TV. Tell people who are overseas, don't come here to visit. 4, slow Trump down by making sure that Democrats win control of the House in 2026. And actually, there'll be an early election in New York, Stefanik's district, that Democrats can also win. People are saying there won't be fair elections in 2026. That's just panicking. We can't presume that. And if there are fair elections, we can win the House. That will slow Trump down. 5, support organizations that are taking Donald Trump to court to slow him down, to make sure that he doesn't become America's first dictator. Mark my words, he will lose at least some Supreme Court rulings, maybe even most. And we can't presume that he will ignore those losses. If he adheres to them, he can be stopped. And finally, 6, protests. Protests are just beginning. My wife and my daughter were already at a protest in D.C. As Donald Trump's popularity goes down, those protests will, mark my words, organically grow. And when they get large, you need to be there. Don't be shy. Show your displeasure. Remember, don't panic. Donald Trump is winning the sprint, but it's a marathon. We can win the marathon.
With a noble spirit and a great, great purpose. He did not hate his opponents. He wanted the best for them. That's where I disagreed with Charlie. I hate my opponent. And I don't want the best for them. I'm sorry.
Behold, the festering carcass of American rot, shoved into an ill-fitting suit, the sleaze of a con man, the cowardice of a draft dodger, the gluttony of a parasite, the racism of a Klansman, the sexism of a back alley creep, the ignorance of a barstool drunk, and the greed of a hedge fund ghoul all spray-painted orange and paraded like a prize hog at a county fair. Not a president, not even a man. Just the diseased distillation of everything this country swears it isn't, but has always been. Arrogance dressed up as exceptionalism, stupidity passed off as common sense, cruelty sold as toughness, greed exalted as ambition, and corruption worshipped like gospel. It is America's shadow made flesh, a rotting pumpkin idol, proving that when a nation kneels before money, power, and spite, it doesn't just lose its soul, it shits out this bloated obscenity and calls it a leader.
You're not allowed to run. Because everyone, I'm 28 points higher than anyone. Everybody wants me to run, but including us. You know, it's funny. So this drives me crazy. Look, 4 more years. I go 4 more years.
You know, I keep hearing people say, Trump is too dumb to pull it off. He's not like Putin. Like, okay, let's unpack that. Do you really think history's dictators came with a genius badge? No. Half of them couldn't run a sandwich shop. Authoritarian regimes don't happen because one guy is a mastermind. They happen because the boring machinery of government gets quietly rewired while everyone is busy laughing at the clown show in the front. And that's the trick. Trump doesn't have to be smart. He just has to be loud, distracting, and willing to say the part out loud. The real brains, they're in the shadows. The strategists, the lawyers, the money men, the folks writing the 800-page legal briefs while he's rage tweeting at 2 a.m. He's basically the world's most orange mascot, while other people draw up the playbook. It's like when you go to a magic show. You're staring at the guy waving his hand around. Meanwhile, his assistants are robbing you blind out of your back pocket. That's what's happening politically, and Americans underestimate it. Because, hey, it looks like he gets winded up walking up the stairs. But that's the camouflage. That's the con. So here's the deal. Don't fall for the too dumb to be dangerous line. The real danger isn't what he says. It's what gets done quietly behind him. Judges stacked, voting laws twisted, rules bent just enough so that one day you wake up and you go, wait, when did this stop being a democracy? So yeah, laugh at the gaffes, enjoy the memes, but don't confuse slapstick with harmless. Because history has shown us over and over again, the clown show at the front can be the cover for the killers at the back. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, and share the video.